All right, everyone, welcome back to our Meal Solutions class, where we are featuring our Flyer to Fork series all about bringing our sales ad to life. So excited to dig into our recipe with you guys today and everything that we're going to cover. Like I said, the focus of these classes is to show you guys that circular that you are seeing every week, but then how you can really take those ingredients and bring them to life in your kitchen with what is on sale. So, our featured meal for today is going to be a kimchi fried rice with scrambled eggs. And that's going to be highlighting Eggland's Best Eggs, which are on sale this week. We'll get to more of that later. But before that, just a review here in terms of how to find the weekly ad. If you don't already know how to do so, you could find it in your mailbox, definitely in our stores right when you walk into the doors, also on our website and on the app. So if you don't already have the app, I highly encourage you to download that. Not only can you see the weekly ad, but you're going to be able to see how many points you have in there and load digital coupons, all of that good stuff. So definitely get the app if you don't already have that. This is a screenshot of where to find the weekly ad on our website. Hope everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day. You can see we had lots of sales over the weekend for the big event, but we still have lots of great deals for the rest of the week too. So when you head to our website at the top there, you'll see circled in red weekly ad. You will click on that and it will pull it up for you. What I'm showing you right now is for the central PA area, so things might look a little different where you are. And then this is how you find it on the app. All right, you're just going to scroll down slightly after you log in and it'll say weekly ad. I'm showing this screenshot in particular because it is also depicting that you can check out next week's ad starting on Thursday. So just remember our ads run from Friday through the following Thursday. So once that following Thursday hits, like this coming Thursday in a couple of days, you can then preview the ad that will start the next day. So it's a great way to help plan out your shopping, especially if you're someone who likes to shop over the weekend. It gives you a good head start to do it that way. So if you're checking it out like that, you can also preview the ad on our website too. So it's not just the app. The option will be there on Thursdays on our website as well. All right. So now, once you find what you are looking for in the ad, maybe you need some more inspiration. Of course, always attend our classes to get a nice chunk of inspiration. But if you want to look even further, I highly encourage you checking out our Savory Recipe Resource Center. There is a tab for that at the top of the website, just like we saw weekly ad. A little further down, it'll say recipes and it will take you to this recipe source. Okay. So I wanted to do something with eggs today. So you just type eggs into the search and then you can add some filters in there with that as well. As you see, there's some examples on the left that you can add in ingredients that you do like, maybe some ingredients that you don't like. And then further down, there's some more advanced filters that you can, maybe look by the winter season, or maybe you're looking specifically for a lunch meal. All of those are there, as well as the filter to find recipes that earn guiding stars. So that's why mine says 3 advanced filters, because I'm showing all the recipes that either earn 1, 2, or 3 guiding stars, meaning that they are better for you recipes. So as you can see, we have a ton, right? Over 1,000 for eggs. And this might be recipes that highly showcase eggs or just have eggs in the mix. So be checking out the website for that. This is the one that I decided to go with today. I'm super pumped about it. It's kimchi fried rice with scrambled eggs. You'll see I'm going to change the recipe slightly here. The link will say that it's with fried eggs, which is what you see pictured over here. And don't get me wrong, I love a good fried egg. And I feel like there's so many things to call these eggs. Sunny side up egg. I would just call this a dippy egg, which I love. That's actually what we did for Valentine's Day. We had breakfast for dinner, and I made dippy eggs. in the shape of a heart. But anywho, I decided to switch it up a little bit from the fried egg or the sunny side up egg because I do believe that Jenna did that last week. If you would love to learn all about Eggland's Best Eggs a bit more, I would highly encourage you to check out her recording all about Eggland's Best and behind the brand. So I'm pretty sure she mastered the sunny side up egg as well as the poached egg during that class. So I thought, you know what? Let's scramble an egg today because to me, if I'm making fried rice, that's generally what I like to do. Okay. Now, maybe you've made fried rice before, but I'm wondering if you've ever made it with kimchi before. Okay. And that's why I really love this recipe because I do love a good fried rice. I think it's super easy to make with a lot of pantry ingredients. And then the eggs add just this very quick and easy protein to the meal. But if you want to take the flavor profile up a notch, that's where this kimchi comes in. Okay, so we're going to be adding a cup and a half of kimchi to our recipe here, as you can see. Um, the directions are here on this following slide, but I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen at this time, and we'll go over to my other camera and start cooking up this dish. I already have the kimchi out, and it smells good. It's going to pair so nicely with these eggs. So I know I keep saying I'm egg-cited. That was good. Did you get that egg-cited? Yeah. Okay, I'll let you take that in for a minute. All right, okay. Moving on, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here and we will switch cameras. All right, so now you should be seeing this other camera here. I had to redo my camera setup for this class a little bit differently because we have so many different pots and pans going on for this recipe. But don't worry, like it's not crazy. I don't want you to think it's not something that's doable. You'll see how quickly this recipe comes together. Okay, I'm actually gonna take you for a little tour of my kitchen and move down to this pan here because we need to start our fried rice in a little bit of a bigger pan. We'll come back to making the actual eggs in a moment. But let's go ahead and get this started here. So I have a tablespoon of oil in my pan that I'm just going to heat on medium. And then to that, I am going to be adding some shiitake mushrooms, okay? Two packages of that. They're already pre-sliced, but I did wash them. So we'll go ahead and get those in there. And then to that also, we are adding half a bag of our matchstick carrots. So this is a 10-ounce bag. We're just using half of it. Save the other half to make a nice salad or whatever you'd like to do there. But we'll go ahead and get that in there. Okay. While this is warming up, this is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes to start coming together and sizzling nicely. So I'm going to let that there. And I'm going to go ahead and bring my screen up for you again. And we're going to chat a little bit more about the eggs. Okay. So, like I said, the eggs are going to be what are on sale this week from Eggland's Best. Both they're free range and they're cage free, as you can see here. Why are these eggs that we want to be incorporating into our diet? Let's check that out here a bit. So, as you can see, lots of great qualities, 10 times more the vitamin E, 25% less saturated fat, and 2 times more omega-3. That top line there is what's really going to be awesome in terms of heart health, okay? So February is Heart Health Month. We like to introduce things into our diet daily that's going to help with our cholesterol. All three of these things can do that, okay? The fact that they're 25% less than saturated fat, we know that saturated fat is sometimes something that can increase our cholesterol. And here, eggs are already so low in saturated fat, and now they're taking it down even further, okay? Also, they're going to have 2 times the amount of omega-3 being one of those things to help lower our cholesterol. And vitamin E is something that can be very protective of our heart as well. Down on the bottom, 2 times more vitamin B12. When we think about energy levels, that's where B12 is going to be coming in. So we really want to make sure that we're getting enough of that. And then 6 times more vitamin D, which is pretty awesome because there are not a lot of foods out there that actually contain vitamin D, especially if you're someone who's not a milk drinker. Okay. Vitamin D is that vitamin we're getting from the sun. And I don't know about you guys, but I am so ready for the sun. I'm over the cold, over the snow. Need to get in more vitamin D from food until we can get out there in the sun. We need vitamin D in order for our body to absorb calcium, of course, being very important for our bone health. Okay. So Eggland's Best, they really got it all going on here with all of these great features. So definitely one that's going to add a very nutritious punch to our fried rice today. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen again there. Let's come back to our carrots and our mushrooms. They're starting to come together nicely. You could chop the mushrooms up a bit more if you would like, but I think it's going to add nice texture to our dish. So that's been going there for a couple of minutes. We're going to go ahead and add some garlic. The recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic. If you guys have been hanging out with me, you know that I'm not a big fan of chopping up garlic. So I am just doing some pre-minced jarred garlic, about a teaspoon in there will be great. You could also use garlic powder if you want to. Any of those options would be fine. Okay. Can really smell the garlic in there too, mixing with these carrots and mushrooms really nicely. Okay, now to that, we're going to start working with our kimchi. The recipe calls to drain the kimchi, but to reserve about 3 tablespoons of the juice. So that's what I have going on here. I just put my colander in a bowl so that way I can reserve that juice and then have my kimchi to add in. We're looking for about 1.5 cups of the kimchi. So let me get that for you guys into our dish here. Okay, so I'm using my 1/2 cup. So I'm just going to put this in 3 times. There was 1/2 cup. And here is a whole cup. And now we'll get our 1.5 cups in there. Now, if you aren't familiar with kimchi, kimchi is a fermented cabbage. They usually add some spices in there with it. You can get kimchi either very hot and spicy or mild. This is just a mild kimchi that I have going on in here. So you can see that's already playing really nicely with the carrots and the mushrooms simmering in there. Once again, that was 1.5 cups of the kimchi. To that, I am adding 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. If you don't have the sesame oil, that's okay. It's just going to add a little bit of an extra layer of flavor to the dish. But once again, I think fried rice is all about pantry staples. So if you don't have the sesame oil, it'll be just fine. Okay, but it is a good one to add to the pantry. So we have our mushrooms, our carrots in here, our kimchi. Now we're going to add our rice, right? Because here we've been doing this and I don't have any rice in there to fry yet. So this is pre-cooked rice, our jasmine rice that just goes in the microwave for 90 seconds. I did microwave it, okay, so it could come out of the package nicely. Well, I think it's going to come out of the package nicely. There we go. Okay, 2 of them are going to go in here and we'll break that up then. All right. So start to push that down in. 2 . 2 . 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2 Okay, now to that, I'm gonna mix that up a bit more, but now is when that reserved kimchi juice comes in. So let me get that. We're looking for 3 tablespoons, which I think I should have. 1, 2, 3, a little more. Okay. Also to that, I am doing 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. Gotta have soy sauce in fried rice, okay? So let's mix this up. All right. We need a new mixing vessel. Hold on. Here we go. This is looking good. It's smelling good. And what's going to make this even better are those scrambled eggs. So let me just finish getting this mixed up. And then we'll switch our attention to that protein that we're going to be adding to this dish, the scrambled egg. Okay. All right, that's looking good there. I'm just going to turn that down on low because that is all heated up and ready to go. Let's switch our attention now over to the eggs. Okay. Just out. All right. So let's see here. Okay. I've already sprayed my pan with a bit of canola oil spray, and I'm going to turn my burner on about medium. The recipe calls for, I believe, 2 eggs, but I think I'm going to do more than that. I think I'm going to do 3. Okay. Here are those Eggland Best eggs. You can see the logo stamped right on there. Okay. Now there's so many ways that you can make scrambled eggs, right? You can mix these in a dish first, add some milk, add some salt and pepper. You guys can't see this right now, but I am cracking eggs with my arms around my camera stand. So don't mind me if this doesn't work out. I would love sometime for you guys to see us, like watch us filming a class because I'm sure it's like quite hysterical. I have 3 eggs. You know what? We're gonna do 4 just for fun. So we have like a good full serving of protein in here. But anywho, like I was saying, you can add milk, you can add seasoning to your eggs, but I just really want to let the flavor of these eggs sing on their own. So I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm just going to scramble them right in my pan. I have always heard that the mark of a good chef is how well you can cook eggs. And you know who can cook eggs really well? And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but my kid. She can cook eggs really well. She's 10 now. Some of you might have remember her from early days of us doing classes, like 5 years ago. But she has taken an interest in cooking eggs, specifically scrambled eggs, and she loves it. And she does a very nice job. They always turn out nice and fluffy. Um, so we'll see if I can make her proud here with these ones today. But once again, we're just gonna get these cooking, and then these Eggland's Best eggs we've chatted about. They have those heart health qualities with the vitamin E, the lower saturated fat, as well as the double omega-3. And then we have the good vitamin D in there, as well as B12. But as I keep mentioning, in terms of our fried rice dish here, they're really going to add an element of protein to it. So you get a little protein from the rice that's in here, but rice isn't a complete protein, whereas the eggs will be. So we're just going to let these set and get them cooking in here. And then we will start to incorporate them into our fried rice. I feel like fried rice is one of those dishes that sometimes gets better as it sits. So if you are someone who enjoys meal prepping for the week, I think that fried rice is a great one to be making on Sunday and then having throughout the week because the more those flavors sit, the better they all come together. Um, but also I think that fried rice, now we're starting to cook. Fried rice is one of those things that like I know if I'm just looking to make a quick meal for myself, that it's so easy to just throw together. Okay, so I'm just going to keep stirring this as it starts to cook. If you've never made scrambled eggs before, once again, super easy to do so. We don't want them to burn though, although some people might like that. I feel like some folks like their scrambled eggs more on like the runny side. Some like them cooked very hard. I'm not that capacity of I like them to be soft and fluffy. And they're going to cook a bit more once we put them into our fried rice. So that's something to think about too. Now, if you do what the recipe suggests of making the fried eggs, you would just make those sunny side up or dippy eggs, whatever you call them, and then dish out your fried rice and put that egg on top. And then, of course, that yolk would run down nicely and you can mix that into your mixture. I know a lot of folks who aren't big on stuff like that, though, like eggs on burgers and things, but I am. I love that kind of stuff. All right, we are almost there. Just have a little bit more to cook here on the side. And then we will add this to our dish. As I'm finishing cooking this, I will say that I do have some chopped green onions or scallions that we're going to top this off with. And that will add a nice pop of color as well as freshness to our fried rice. Okay, this right here, these are beautiful. These Eggland's Best eggs are cooking up so nicely. Once again, I haven't added anything to them and they're looking very luscious, light and fluffy. I'm going to stop them here. You could cook them harder if you wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and add them into my fried rice. So let's move over. But again, the tour of the kitchen. There we go. Okay, move over just a hair here. Okay, let's get these eggs in here. All right. And give this a mix. And turn that back on low. And we're just going to incorporate those eggs in there. As you can see, they do add a little pop of color. We got those heart health benefits. We have our protein. Ah, it's looking so good. So good. Okay. Now, from here, I'm going to turn it off. From here, you could leave it like that. You could dish them into bowls. I'm all about like serving dishes on the table and letting folks help themselves out of them lately. So I'm going to go ahead and take my green onions here and just sprinkle them on top. Like I said, that color is coming through, that freshness is there. Just going to add a little something to our dish. And there we have it, guys. Our fried rice, our kimchi fried rice with Eggland's Best Egg are complete, okay? And if we think about it, I rambled for a while in the beginning, like I usually do. And we cooked that whole dish. We still have 5 minutes left. So once again, a very easy meal to bring together for you and bring to life from our sales ad, especially with those Eggland's Best eggs being on sale this week. So let's go ahead and finish out our presentation here just with taking a look at what is coming up the rest of the week if you're not already signed up. Charlotte tomorrow for Fresh Finds is going to be celebrating National Cabbage Day, which ties in really nicely to the fact that we just made kimchi, which once again is a fermented cabbage. So hang out with Charlotte tomorrow to learn more about that specifically. Joni will be here on Wednesday in our Loving Wells our Living Well series, talking about sodium and blood pressure. And then Jenna will wrap up the week with Behind the Brand featuring California Walnut. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe and you take care of the rest of the day. If you have any questions, now is the time to drop them into the Q&A. I am going to close out our recording and then we'll go over those questions. But if you need to leave, that's of course fine too. But thanks so much.